Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the October 6th Board of Commissioners meeting. First, we will have the Pledge of Allegiance by Troop 619.
Color guard advance. About face. Please join me in saying the pledge of the Scout salute. Please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ready to? About face. Color guard dismissed. Mary, the meeting is now open.
Thank you. Next, we have the approval of the agenda.
To approve the agenda?
We have a motion. Is there a second? Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion passes. Next, public comment. We only had one to sign. Dr. Cochran.
Good evening. It's been about a month and a half since I last spoke to you. Some of you may recall at that time I had offered a suggestion that we get together as a community and have some discussions between serving leaders and individuals who were currently running for office and the citizenry. During that time period, I've had some interesting conversations with people. One just happened last Saturday. A young person who owns a business here in Zebulon said to me that his generation struggles very hard with political differences or differences at all. His explanation is that he hasn't seen very good examples from adults as role models in how to resolve differences and how to cooperate with each other. Over the last several months, there's been a great deal of discussion of the need for parks, recreations, and assistance for youth, developing and training them for this world. But I have to question the logic of trying to give them more playgrounds when maybe what they need is more lessons in life. So therefore, what I'm coming back for you to suggest is that I'm going to try to put together over the next 25 days a series of debates and or town halls where instead of you going and listening to moderators ask questions, you talk to your candidates. The candidates talk directly to the people. And some of this talking at each other is put aside because we learn to talk to each other, not only for our benefit, not only because we could benefit from after the election building an alliance together, but also a benefit so that the young people who just led us in the Pledge of Allegiance get to see how adults handle our differences and get a good example. Having said that, I have fortunately a couple of venues that have volunteered their sites for us to use for these type of events. I don't want to compete with what the Women's Club did. I appreciate what they did. I went to both of those events and I enjoyed them both. But the one thing that bothered me is I couldn't talk directly to the candidates and they didn't talk directly to me. So I'm not going to compete with them because let's face it, I have a small group of people trying to pull this off. We're volunteers. We're not going to look as good. We're not going to be as smooth. What we are going to do is try to give you a chance to talk to each other instead of acting at each other. So I put together a website, Zeb_citizen@AOL. For those of you who are here, for those of you who are watching on camera, you're welcome to contact me. My goal is that if nobody wants this, I'm going to step aside and just enjoy a couple of nights off. But if you do want this, My goal will be that we will have a town hall type atmosphere where people get to talk to each other, where those people currently serving get a chance to represent who they are. With those people who are currently running against those people, they get to represent themselves. And nobody of any particular political party or financial interest will have advantage over anyone else. This will be an action of the people, for the people, and by the people, some of the most humble here in Zebulon. Anybody who wishes to talk to me before the night is over, I will be here at the end of the meeting to work with you. And I say work with you because unlike other events you've been exposed to, I don't intend to make rules to impose on you. My goal is for the candidates who are all going to sit down during a town hall to build the rules together. It will be a cooperative effort as to what night happens or what nights it happens, what the rules will be, and what will make cooperation. Cooperation starts with the event and ends with the election. I understand that the provincial wisdom of today is that election decides the future. I understand the ideas today is that money determines the present. But I believe that our future exists beyond the cult of personality. It is dependent on how well we work with each other. This is a step to try to bring together a community that has been fractioned and that is angry. Anybody who wants to participate, even Ms. Davis, who is the only person currently serving but not running for office, would be welcome to come to the town hall and participate because she is a serving member and she would be able to give a chance to talk to you, with you, and about you. Again, if no one's interested in this, I will back off and enjoy a couple of nights off. But if you want it, I'll make it possible. Email me your questions, email me your locations if you think you got a better place than I do. Email me how you would like to participate. Just don't email me any money. No money is going to trade hands with us. No one will get paid. Money will not color this effort. This is going to be purely an effort of people to try to communicate with each other. I said I'd do this 2 months ago. Tonight I'm saying if you want it, it's ready to go. You let me know. Thank you.
Was there any emails or letters concerning public comment?
No, sir.
Oh, thank you. Next, we'll have school presentations. Serenity Meadows. Miss Serenity Meadows is a sixth grader from Zebulon Magnet Middle School. She is a shining example of what is meant to be a cougar. She's always kind to her peers. She approaches her teachers with respect and contributes to a positive classroom environment. Serenity is a studious learner who takes her work seriously and consistently completes assignments with care. She asks thoughtful questions, she demonstrates genuine curiosity, and seeks to understand material at a deeper level. In just a short time, she has quickly adjusted to the demands of middle school and embraces the challenge of the sixth grade. Her kindness, her dedication, and eagerness to learn make Serenity a role model for her peers and a joy to teach. We're proud to recognize her as a cougar who embraces pride, prepared, respectful, influenced, determined, and engaged. The town of Zebulon recognizes Serenity Meadow, a Zebulon GT Magnet Elementary School, for being an outstanding student and role model for other students. This day, October 6th, signed Mayor Glenn L. York. Ms. Evans? Ms. Michaela Evans is a true instructional leader and an invaluable member of our school community. She consistently goes above and beyond to support students and colleagues, modeling what is meant to lead with both excellence and compassion. In her classroom, Mrs. Evans challenges students to rise to every occasion. She holds them to a high expectation while providing the encouragement and support they need to succeed. Her kindness and patience create a safe space where students feel valuable and capable of achieving their best. The results of her teaching speak for themselves. Her students consistently demonstrate strong academic achievement with some of the highest ELA scores in our building. In addition to her classroom teaching, Ms. Evans leads the AVID program at ZMMS, equipping students with essential college and career readiness skills. Through the AVID, she fosters critical thinking, organization, and collaboration, empowering students to set the achieve ambition goals. Her work in AVID extends her impact beyond one class, shaping the culture of the rigor and success across the school. Beyond her classroom, Ms. Evans is always willing to lend a helping hand. She steps in wherever she is needed. She collaborates with colleagues to strengthen the instructions and finds ways to ensure all students have the opportunity to thrive. She embodies the qualities of a servant leader, someone who leads by example and inspires others through her actions. For her unwavering dedication, her leadership, and the countless ways she helps students and staff grow, we are proud to nominate Ms. Evans as the Town of Zebulon Spotlight Teacher. Evans, Zebulon GT Magnet Elementary School, for her dedication to the school and its students. Signed this day, October 6th, by Mayor Glenn L. York. Next, we have proclamations. First proclamation, Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month, will be read by Commissioner Davis.
Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month and Pregnancy and Infant Loss Remembrance Day. Whereas pregnancy and infant loss is such a common occurrence, and whereas this devastating tragedy often occurs suddenly, without warning, as a result of miscarriage, stillbirth, preterm birth, sudden infant death syndrome, accidents, or other causes or complications, and whereas the town of Zebulon wishes to acknowledge the profound grief experienced by families who suffer the death of a baby, and whereas even the shortest lives are still valuable, and the grief of those who mourn the loss of these lives should not be trivialized. And whereas increased awareness of the causes and impacts surrounding pregnancy and infant loss may lead to greater understanding, support, and resources in communities across Wake County. And whereas recognizing Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month would enable the people of Zebulon, North Carolina to consider how, as individuals and communities, they can meet the needs of bereaved mothers, fathers, and family members, and we work to prevent the causes of these deaths. Now be it therefore resolved that the Mayor, Glenn York of the town of Zebulon, do hereby proclaim October as Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month and October 15th of 2025 as Pregnancy and Infant Loss Remembrance Day in the town of Zebulon, and encourage parents, caregivers, and all residents to become educated in opportunities to prevent pregnancy and infant loss and support bereaved families when prevention is not possible. Adopted this day, October 6, 2025.
Thank you. Next proclamation is Fire Prevention Week. 2025 Fire Prevention Week. Whereas the town of Zebulon is committed to ensuring the safety and security of those living in Zebulon and visiting. Whereas fire remains a serious public concern both locally and nationally, and the presence of the lithium batteries in many household devices introduces a unique fire risk. And whereas most of the electronics used in homes daily, including smartphones, tablets, laptops, power tools, e-bikes, e-scooters, and toys, are powered by lithium batteries, which is misused, damaged, or improperly charged, can overheat and start a fire or explode. Whereas the National Fire Prevention Association reports an increase in battery-related fires, underscoring the need for more public education on the safe use of lithium batteries. Whereas residents should follow 3 key calls to action: buy only listed products, charge battery safety, and recycle them responsibly to prevent battery-related fires. Whereas lithium batteries stored in large amounts of energy in a small space, and improper use, such as overcharging, using off-brand chargers without safety certifications, or exposing batteries to damage, can result in fire or explosion. Whereas the proper disposal and recycling of lithium batteries help prevent environmental hazards and reduce fire risk in the home and community. And whereas Zebulon's first responders are dedicated to reducing the occurrence of fires through prevention, safety, education, and community outreach. Whereas 2025 Fire Prevention Week, the theme, charge into fire safety. Lithium batteries in your home serves to remind us of the importance of using, charging, recycling lithium batteries safely to reduce the risk of fires in our homes and communities. Now be it therefore resolved that I, Glenn L. York, Mayor of the town of Zebulon, do hereby proclaim October 5th through the 11th, 2025 as Fire Prevention Week throughout the town of Zebulon, adopted this day. Next proclamation, Cyber Security Awareness Month. Commissioner Baxter.
Whereas National Cybersecurity Awareness Month emphasizes making cybersecurity a shared responsibility and empowering our community to protect their digital lives and promote safe online practices, and whereas the town of Zebulon relies on digital information systems to support essential functions, emergency response, and public safety services, and whereas advances in technology bring increasing threats of cyber attacks that can cause financial losses and privacy breaches, and whereas education and collaboration enhance our cybersecurity posture, encouraging vigilance and proactive behaviors to prevent cyber incidents, and whereas the town of Zebulon is dedicated to identifying, preventing, and responding to cyber attacks, to protect sensitive information and ensure operational continuity. And whereas, as we observe the 21st anniversary of Cybersecurity Awareness Month, we recognize the progress in cybersecurity education, the need for ongoing vigilance, and the professionals protecting our digital world. And whereas the town of Zebulon joins the nation in recognizing October as National Cybersecurity Awareness Month, now, therefore, the Board of Commissioners of the town of Zebulon does hereby proclaim October as National Cybersecurity Awareness Month and encourages the residents of Zebulon to stay educated on how to protect their sensitive information in this digital world we live in, adopted this 6th day of October, 2025.
Thank you. Next, presentations. Boy Scouts, Troop 619.
Good evening, Mayor York, Board of Commissioners, town staff, and my fellow neighbors. I am Lawrence Burton, and I have the esteemed pleasure of serving my community as a Scoutmaster of Scout Troop 619. Our troop chartered in June of 2024 and conducted our first meeting in September of 2024. We are part of a global scouting organization which dates back to 1908. The global membership is shown on our uniforms in the form of the World Scouting Crest, as you will see here. Scouting arrived in the United States in 1910. Today, our scouting headquarters operates under the charter of the United States Congress, which lists us as a nonprofit patriotic organization. This association allows us to use the rectangular U.S. flag on our right sleeve, similar to civic service and military members, as you'll see on our uniform here. Most people know scouting from the community services we offer, the Eagle projects we do, as well as the outdoor skills we teach. But that is just a small part of the work that we do. Our mission is to prepare young people to make ethical and moral choices over their lifetime by instilling in them the Scout Oath and Scout Law. The program is fun and exciting, but we never lose sight of our vision of preparing every eligible youth in America to become responsible, participating citizens, and leaders who are guided by the Scout Oath and Scout Law. What is scouting, you may ask? It is simply a youth movement that encourages young people to learn, to grow through outdoor activities. We teach leadership, we provide service, we instill confidence. Well, how do we accomplish these goals? Our adult leaders aims to teach character development, leadership development, citizenship training, and personal fitness. I myself have been part of that. We've been doing some hikes, so I'm gonna try to whip myself back in shape so we'll be nice and ready for next year. We also are guided by the methods of scouting.
The methods we use are as followed. Patrols. The patrol method allows scouts to interact in small groups where they can easily relate to each other with similar skill sets.
Outdoor programs. It is here that the skills and activities practiced at troop meetings come alive with purpose.
Advancements. Scouts are rewarded for each achievements, rather rank or merit badge, which helps them gain self-confidence.
Association with adults. Scout leaders are positive role models for the Scouts and provide examples on how to conduct themselves.
Personal growth. Scouts plan their activities, voted on them, and progress towards their goals.
Leadership and development. Every Scout has the opportunity to participate in both shared and all totals leadership situations.
And there's one more, uniform. Visibly identifies us as someone always willing to be helpful. Each individual's uniform displays that Scouts or Scouters' commitment to the program. It also provides equity by standardizing the presentation of the Scouts and Scouters. So I'll tell you now a little bit about some of the activities that we've done in this last year, which is our first year of operation. First thing that we did is we did a hike. I wanted to get them outside, start seeing outdoors. As you see, we're teaching lessons, we're doing a hike, a lot of good stuff. We actually did a district hike as well. That was at Blue Jay Center. We attended the Wendell Fall Festival as well as the Zebulon Christmas Parade. We taught skills that allowed them to earn the totem chip, which was saw, axe, hatchet, and also safe practices of using a knife. We did a lot of cooking. That's why we got to work on our personal fitness, because we do a lot. We do a lot of good cooking. So we teach how to cook using camp outdoor equipment and learning the safeties behind them. We have a portion that's called Duty to God, a Scout is Reverent, where we participated in a Scout Sunday at our charter and organization, which is Pleasant Grove Baptist Church. We attended some merit badges. This was thrown by the North Carolina Wildlife Commission. They had a fish and merit badge. As you see, we went there and the Scouts caught fish, and we actually had to cook fish and ate it, and it was awesome. More reason why we have to do more physical fitness. We had a family night social at Milano's where we had a chance. A lot of our activities deal with our Scouts, but this is an opportunity for families to come out and enjoy Scouting and be with us. We also did an aviation merit badge. That was pretty fun. They learned to use the simulators. They learned about different aspects of a plane, about pitch, roll, yaw, all those different terms and everything about aviation. We had a mentally awake, as you hear in our Scout Oath. We met with Dr. Wendy, that's part of Empowered Citizens, that is here in Zebulon, and we had a mental awareness day where we were talking about a lot of the stresses that youth deal with that we are not aware of and things like that, just to make sure we do check-ins and keep everybody sound. We participated in the Juneteenth Festival, and that was pretty cool because we got a chance to open up that meeting with our flag procession. We also had a recruitment day that was on that Saturday, as you see in the bottom right, where we have the tent set up. We did the summer camp, which was a week-long camping experience. It was a long week. It was a long week of camping. It was fun. It was a full 7 days. As you should see some of the pictures afterward. But we had fun. I mean, they did a lot of things. See, these guys are cracking up. You guys are killing me. But they had different activities like, the swimming. Come on, guys, you guys are killing me. As you see, they had ATV riding. We actually did some other merit badges, aquatic sports. And even too, one of our Scouts here, who is our chaplain's aide, he actually led the prayer before meal, as you see in the upper left. We learned things of safe practice and handling of firearms, you see in the upper right. Don't worry, it was just a .22. Before people get all nervous, it was just a simple weapon. We have archery as well, and we had a campfire. We had the Scout Night with Carolina Mudcats. As we all know, they left, but we did have a chance to have the final Mudcat Scout Night with them. We had a good time, enjoyed it. Future events, real quick, and I'll wrap up. So we have popcorn. As you know, Scouts, we sell popcorn as a fundraiser. We will have a booth on Tuesday, October 7th from 4 to 8 p.m. That's at Lowe's Home Improvement in Capitol Boulevard in Raleigh. If you're not able to make it there, we'll also be in Knightdale at the Food Lion. We'll be working with some of the stores this year so that next year we'll be able to do some booths here as well in town. But if you are able to make it out, thank you so much. That helps our program. The Aero Experience. This will be Thursday, October 23rd from 6 to 8:30. This will be at the Barwell Road Community Center in Raleigh. It's free to sign up. I'll send the link to you all if I post it with your notes and things to pass out to everyone who wants to go. The thing that's also about it is the scouts that worked on the aviation merit badge I talked about earlier, they're actually going to honor us in that. Veterans Day flag retirement ceremony. That's something that I'm looking forward to as well. That's going to be Tuesday, November 11th. That's going to be right here in the town of Zebulon. It's going to be at the Town Hall soccer field. It's just right outside here. Please bring any worn or tatted flags that are no longer fit to be flown with honor. We will properly retire those as a service to the community, but also we'll educate people on how to properly dispose of flags. We'll partner with the town of Zebulon with that, as well as the American Legion Post 363. For next year, be on the lookout for the family night that's coming up. And then we'll have a food charity drive that's called Scouting for Food. And what that is, that's a national initiative that our organization has where 1 week we go through the neighborhoods, we put flyers on the doors. We may have to get permission from some HOAs, but we put flyers on the doors, and then the next week we come back and we'll pick up the food donation and we'll donate it to our charter org as well as to the national initiatives. So be on the lookout for that. Leave no trace. That's one of our principles. It's number 3, trash or trash. So obviously as scouts are clean. One of the things we would look to do is pick a park here in Zebulon and clean that park. And we like to get the community out as well, make it a big activity. To contact us, it's real easy. info@scouttroop619.org. You can look us up on Facebook, Scout Troop 619. We're looking for youth males between the ages of 11 and 18, 6th grade through 12th grade, and it's the most important part. Highly motivated and dedicated to better themselves. Thank you so much.
Good evening, Mayor York, members of the commission, town council. I'm excited to be here. This picture right here gives me the warm fuzzies every time I see it. This is the first day of summer camp that we hosted this year here at Zebulon Elementary School. And the students are like, we're here, but imagine if your kid comes home and said, Mom, at the first day of camp, we had fire department, police department, and all of these adults just standing around. And that was exactly the experience that occurred during the summer camp. I'm LaToya Montague. I'm with Communities and Schools of Wake County. We have had the pleasure of partnering in the Zebulon community for 35 years. This is our 35th anniversary, and Zebulon was one of the schools that we chartered when we opened as an organization. Our mission is to surround students with a community of support, empowering them to stay at school and achieve in life. And can I tell you that the Zebulon community showed up big for our summer camp this year, and I'm so excited to be able to share a little bit more about that, because at Communities and Schools of Wake County, we really know that programs don't change students, it's relationships. So you can have a 12-step program, you can have all of the things, but if there's not really a centralized relationship at the base of that, much like what the Boy Scout troop was talking about, how do you help build these young people? It's really about having the foundational relationship. So 2 of the people who serve here in Zebulon, you may know them. The superstar on the right, Gary Haley. I know a lot of people here in Zebulon know him. He's almost a superstar. He's not able to be with us here tonight. He led our Champ Summer East program. And Aisha Riley serves as our success coach at Zebulon Middle School. So she's at the middle school all day, every day that school is in session, working with young people, helping to make sure that they're meeting their goals and excelling. CIS is fairly simple. We want to help make sure that young people are focused on their attendance, on their behavior, and then their coursework, and then also college and career readiness, because how many of you know that that starts in kindergarten? It doesn't start in the 12th grade. And then also parent engagement. How do we help parents connect even deeper in their community, but also in their child's education process so that they feel empowered to be able to help co-make decisions with the administrations of schools where their students attend. So I apparently chose the wrong color. So I will read to you what's enlisted here. So we basically wrote a 3-year program for summers at the elementary school. We really wanted to be able to impact students who are rising 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders who were not already flagged by their schools for needing to attend the Read to Achieve camp. But guess what? All minds really need to stay active during the academic year. During the summer. How many of you think we should take the summer off? How many of you, I love that for you, right? So for those of us who work other jobs, right, other than being a student, typically we don't get the whole summer off, right? But we also want to instill with our young people that we want to keep our minds very nimble and moving forward. So we were awarded a 21st Century, which is a federally funded program. I will tell you the excitement on the front page was amazing, but just to give you the backdrop in the background, what I was dealing with is we were also notified that day that funding would be frozen. And so we were celebrating on day one and didn't know if that was going to be day one and only. But the kids never knew, staff never knew. Those are all the wonderful things that I get the opportunity of couching. But we were able to kind of get through that very seamlessly with no interruption to program. We were also able to hire certified educators, which I know is important during the summer months because our educators are not always actively employed, and if they are, it may not be something that uses their natural gifts and talents. And so we're really excited about doing that. And then we also were able to by having those certified educators, we were able to do standards-aligned activities. So imagine a classroom where the kids are excited about being there and the teachers are excited about being there and everyone's excited about the activity. And so those are the kinds of things that may not be able to coexist in a traditional classroom because who has time to hand crank homemade ice cream and talk about phase change, right? And so though it's a really great thing, but can you really get through that if you have a class size of 30 and all the things? Do you have the materials? The other thing about the program is that it pretty much pays for most of the cost of executing the program. And so the teachers were able to say, oh, I really need this, and there wasn't any exchange necessarily out of their pocket to go and provide for it. But we also wanted to make sure, especially in talking with several of the commissioners, they said a half-day program for rising 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders, that won't work. That's traditionally our model. And so we had to have some additional conversations to say, okay, wow, how can we make sure that we have the funding that we need as well as be able to serve a quality program? And so what we agreed upon is instead of 24 days, we did 12 days and we provided transportation. So the students were able to engage in academic activities in with a caring adult, 2 meals a day, and they're learning and thriving and enjoying it. And it was 12 solid days. We also had a fantastic field trip to the Greensboro Science Center, which is where some of these images are from, and the students absolutely loved it. If you have never been to the Greensboro Science Center, it is like everything in one place. So there's some live animals, there's the aquatic center, there's a traditional museum. So the kids were really able to get a very multi-dimensional field trip in that one go. Also, by having the connection with the town, we had members from the police department come and talk to the kids about being a police officer and firemen and things of that nature. So it really was a very healthy engagement point with some of the community helpers who are around every day, but may not have the natural engagement with the students to have a positive engagement. We also had Raleigh Tennis Association come in and expose the students to tennis. Some of them maybe for the first time, others, they were professionals. And it was a great experience for students who may not look at tennis as a traditional sport that has a lot of students' attention. The economic impact for this grant for the past summer was $105,000. That came at no cost to the school, no cost to the town at all. There were some things, though, that made it super, super awesome. and that includes the way that various town members stepped up. So again, the parents were amazing. Some of the parents attended the field trip with us, and I don't know who had more fun, if it was the parents or the children, until they got to the souvenir shop. And then that was where the clear line was, because the kids wanted everything, right? But also just having so much support from the community. For example, we partnered with Wake County Public School System. They provided summer feeding, which is provided to all students up to the age of 18 at no cost. But they provided lunch only, and we were having students on site from 9 until 5. And so through the awesome tentacles in the community, again, Champion Gary Haley, which I wish he was here, he was able to secure through Burger King and through the Deltas breakfast for the students every day. So there was a breakfast entree, so the kids were able to eat breakfast and lunch at no cost, and that's, again, because of the community really stepping up. What makes this important is that this is a 3-year project. So 21st Century, we're committed for the 3 years. Want to focus on, again, that rising 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade population, because I think all students need to have additional activities, right? It's not only easier for the parents, because how many of us, when that summertime comes, we're like, okay, so now what are we gonna do with you, right? How do I keep you engaged and keep all my hair or stop it from frosting? That's my new commentary around it. But I think the most important part is just how the community stepped up and made sure that the students had a fantastic experience. And not only that, like, a lot of the teachers were completely engaged and enthralled in the lessons, because they had total control over what the lessons were, as long as they were aligned with the standards that are set before us by DPI. But then also, what are the fun and engaging things that they may not have traditional time for in a traditional classroom to make those lessons come alive? So again, I just want to extend a thank you for the town, as the community, the volunteers, the commission. It was just a very amazing experience, and we look forward to being even bigger. Oh, and just short notice, we applied in March. We were awarded in May, and we had to put together this program by June or July. Yeah, hiring teachers, what is the curriculum, how do we feed them, how do we get them home? All of those things were only able to happen because, again, the town stood up in a really big way and made that happen. So again, I thank you for the opportunity to continue to serve in the Zebulon town, and I look forward to getting even bigger and better every year. Thanks so much.
Next, we'll have the consent agenda. Is there a motion?
Approve this consent agenda as is.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll vote. Commissioner Baxter?
In favor.
Commissioner Miles? Favor. Commissioner Davis?
Favor.
Motion passes. Thank you. New business. Economic development.
Commissioners, thank you for hearing this resolution for support of the award of a building reuse grant from the North Carolina Department of Commerce Rural Center. Whereas the town of Zebulon is experiencing substantial growth, having doubled in population in the past 5 years, with future projections indicating a similar trend in the next 5 years, and whereas this rapid growth has created significant demand for industrial space, job creation, and support for existing local employers. And whereas TNT Services, Inc. is a local business seeking to expand operations into a currently vacant industrial facility within the corporate limits of the town of Zebulon. And whereas this facility renovation will allow TNT to invest approximately $1.7 million and add 60 new higher wage positions to the local economy. And whereas the North Carolina Department of Commerce offers the building reuse grant to assist with the renovation of vacant buildings that result in private sector job creation. Pardon me. And whereas the town of Zebulon will serve as the local government applicant and provide the required 5% local match towards the total project cost to support this grant application. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Commissioners in the town of Zebulon that 1, the town fully endorses and supports the building reuse grant application on behalf of TNT Services, Inc. 2, the town commits to fulfilling the required 5% match to support the successful completion of the project. And 3, the resolution shall be entered into the official minutes and kept on file with the town clerk, adopted this 6th day of October 2025. Are there any questions?
See, do we have the gentleman from T&T?
We do.
Would they like to have anything to say?
Antonio Terrell and Bob Robinson here from TNT.
Hello. Hello, Mayor York and the Board of Commissioners and the Town Council and neighbors. Thank you for your support. We are new neighbors, but I'm not a city slicker. I'm actually, my grandmother is from Zebulon. She's a Montague, so I'm probably related to somebody in this room. And I had my first summer job about 5 miles from here in a field. And so it's really a homecoming for me. And we're excited to be here. Just to tell you a little bit about what we do. We are unlicensed general contractors, unlimited licensed general contractors and land developers. But we also have a 3D company that extrudes concrete to build panels for homes, which are attainable. So it's a lesser cost than your traditional home building methodology. And we also have a materials company that actually coexists with those 2 other companies. And so we plan to be a stone's throw up the road here on McTodd Road. And we're excited to be here. And thank you for your time, Shannon. And
Mayor York, Commissioners, I have the distinct pleasure of working with TNT Development on the workforce development side. And what I saw today brings me a great deal of joy because we have in our 25,000 square foot facility, we've dedicated approximately 3,900 square feet of the space for workforce development. And while many of the youth that we all had a chance to see samples of their leadership, we're excited because they will have a place to come and observe the 3D technologies and not only observe, but to interact with several of the SIC codes, the businesses that will hire through this new technology. The reason that we wanted to set up that platform is because we know that we're on the tip of the spear when it comes to 3D technology in North Carolina. We're bringing into Zebulon the only piece of equipment, $1 million piece of equipment to build these homes. And we want the youth in this area, in this community, to not only see it, but to touch it, but to experience the STEM technologies. But what we require them to understand the employer's expectations. That means we're going to slow it down a little bit. We're going to make sure that they speak just like they spoke earlier today, because employers are in business to make money. And when these young people mature and understand law-abiding behaviors, when they understand codes of conduct, when they understand OSHA requirements, when all of those things align and become developed as part of their normal behavior, they're going to have competitive advantages on their resumes. And that's our goal for the youth. So yes, we are here, we're excited. We look forward to working with all of the agencies in this town. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve Resolution 2026-10? We have a motion. Is there a second? Second. Discussion. Roll vote. Commissioner Davis?
Favor.
Commissioner Miles? Favor. Commissioner Baxter?
In favor.
Motion passes. Thank you. Next, planning food truck ordinance.
All right. Good evening, Mayor and Board of Commissioners. Today we'll be discussing the food truck ordinance. This is with regards to the mobile food vendor text amendment that we discussed in previous meetings. Once again, these are the review standards for all text amendment standards in the town's Unified Development Ordinance. And this situation with regards to mobile food vendors particularly addresses number 5 and 6 of the text amendment standards highlighted here. The property location is in the downtown core or DTC zoning district, which is highlighted in red on the map to your left. This is concerning mobile food vendor operations in the right-of-way along North Arundel Avenue. And as a reminder, this is not a proposal for food truck operations on private property. Procedural uncertainty. The UDO evaluation revealed some inconsistencies related to food trucks. This section of the UDO here allows for mobile food vendors only to operate on private property. Now, historically, permits to businesses have been issued for mobile food vendors on public streets within the DTC zoning district. The sudden enforcement change could raise fairness and due process concerns. And we have an internal process on how to address these uncertainties. And as a part of that, town staff is asking the board to consider potential changes or affirm the intent of when the ordinance was approved in 2020. Now, the town staff realizes that there are both opportunities and challenges of food trucks operating in the downtown area. Opportunities, as you see here, includes an increase in diverse offerings. It can bring more people to the downtown area. And food trucks is an entrepreneurial-friendly approach that can scale to a future brick-and-mortar restaurant. And some of the challenges include a reduction in parking spaces, no regulation around managing those spaces, noise, and current competition with existing property tax-paying brick-and-mortar businesses. Now, these are the 6 options that has been brought in front of you all in previous meetings. However, in this presentation, we are going to focus on options 1 and 2, and it's important to note that option 2 was recommended by the planning board in a previous meeting. So option 1 would prohibit food trucks from operating in the downtown core right-of-way area, and option 2, which, as I just mentioned, is the planning board recommended option, would ensure compliance with designated spaces and the other requirements that I will discuss in the next slide coming up. These 2 images here with the green boxes, I apologize if it's a little difficult to see, but these are the 2 spaces that town staff recommended these food trucks operate in along Horton and Van Street. And the reason why we chose these spaces was it would provide access to the public outlets. It would provide adequate parking spaces, and there's also lighting along Horton and Van Street for the food trucks to operate in. The hours of operation would be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Monday through Thursday, from 10 a.m. through 10 p.m. on Friday through Sunday. Each food vendor is limited to 16 hours a month, with only one on Friday, Saturdays, and Sunday slot per month. Scheduling will be managed by the planning department or as designated to another department. And it's important to note that the planning board asked for a discussion on a higher number of hours per month, so we are considering that as well. If approved, town staff will research scheduling programs, develop a cost per hour to cover town costs, and develop an enforcement plan. Now, food trucks will still need to register with the town and have the proper approvals prior to operating at these locations. Some future thoughts, should we move forward with option 2, is the expansion to another location in town, public improvements around the downtown area to support the food trucks, a creation of a social district, and this also may encourage a similar model to be done on private lots. Staff recommendation, both options represent a balance between promoting downtown vibrancy, ensuring accessibility, and effectively managing public space. Town staff only recommendation is that should the Board of Commissioners elect to expand the maximum number of hours for a mobile food vendor may operate, such increases can be made in increments of 4 hours to support predictable and manageable scheduling. These are the 2 suggested motions. So if you as a board were to affirm option 1, there would be no further action required. But if you were to approve option 2, this would be the following motion that you would have to repeat. And I'll be happy to answer questions.
Questions, comments from the board?
So just to make sure.
Commissioner Baxter.
Okay.
So 2 handicap spots will be lost on Vance for the food truck hookups?
Well, I can let Matt up. Yeah.
So we would have to move them. They wouldn't be lost. So we could look at a couple of locations in which we could move them.
Okay, and are those going to have electricity so they won't have to run generators?
Because there's existing power.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Commissioner Miles?
So with option 1, everything just stays the same. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Any further questions, comments from the board?
I'd like to make a motion. I make a motion to affirm option 1.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion?
So help me understand, that's going to currently allow, if we do continue with option 1, for food trucks to operate in the same manner as they've been operating? No, that actually is, so please explain what that's going to, yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong here, but this would just completely eliminate food truck operations in the DT zone district.
Oh, so totally do away with it?
Yeah, correct.
I was under the impression that it would pretty much just kind of leave everything as is. Which option do we have? Leave everything as is until we kind of do further assessment of it. I know we had 6 different options. Can you go back to the other options, please? Yes.
Sure. So there is no as-is because as-is has been, as-in has been occurring, and it should not have been occurring for the past 4 years. And so these options are attempts to meet the market where it's at. We'll also meet public comment and things we've heard from citizens. I think option 6 is probably the closest. It would be a little bit, it would require some more time to develop an enforcement administration plan for it, because food trucks in Zebulon, the way the UDO is written there, the license or the allowances go to the food truck itself, not to the businesses. And so we would need some additional time to reconfigure a separate administrative practice for option 6. But option 6 is the closest. The purpose of this is to attempt to find that happy median, right? And so, I think that's how, through these discussions we have with the planning board, that's how we landed on 2. And we also want to make sure we presented option 1, which was how the code was written, is to not allow this at all. So,
I think for me, just my biggest discussion with my fellow commissioners, the lifeline, those food trucks are the lifeline for a few of those businesses downtown right now. That's going to be key. When I think about 96 Lounge and Spotlight Bar and Lounge, those guys, that is that thing that kind of keeps them going. So it's imperative that we really think about that, how we move forward to ensure that those guys kind of are set up for success, because that's going to be key for me.
I'm sorry, I was under the impression option 1 was to allow it to maintain as is. But now that I'm hearing what Matt is saying, I would like a little bit more time for discussion to gain further understanding, because again, I totally agree with what Commissioner Miles is saying. That is the livelihood for some of those businesses to maintain. And we're talking about the restriction of hours, restricting them hours, the usage, that could shut some of these businesses down, and I prefer not to do so.
Are we saying that food truck operation is what is keeping some of these businesses open downtown? And so having dedicated spots on Vance and Horton, rather, you believe that that is going to still have a negative impact instead of allow the town to be able to manage how we have food trucks rotating through in a fair and more consistent manner?
So for me, if you're moving it, that is, even though we do talk about safety, those citizens that engage in if those citizens that are coming to engage in those facilities, they now have to walk. They no longer have the access to be able to get food right where they are. They now have to go to a certain area. I understand we want to create a social district, but that prevents that business from operating as is, where they currently can provide food services right in front of their, and I don't think that that's going to be beneficial to them.
Somebody walk from 96 Lounge into Vance Street, that's not going to happen.
Again, that goes to what we were saying, that that's going to be critical to the use of their business.
Motion and a second. Do you want to rescind that?
I'll rescind that motion, sir.
Okay.
I would like to put forth a motion that we adopt option 2.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
As this looks like it's going to die without a second, is there any thoughts from the board as to direction for staff so that we can continue to move forward to try and find a solution?
I'd just like to make a motion that we table it until further discussion so we can get with staff.
Well, first, the first motion failed for lack of a second.
That's fine.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion that we table it for further discussion with staff.
Do you have a
preferred date?
Preferred date. We can go with the next scheduled meeting. I'm fine with that.
Work session or
next scheduled meeting, November 3rd.
No. You're talking about the next board meeting.
We can do work session. Either one, which you prefer, I'm fine. Whichever you guys are fine.
Which would give the staff more time.
Is there a particular thing that you would like us to bring to the next meeting? That would help us determine the amount of time.
At this moment, not anything.
Not at this moment?
Correct.
Then the date should be at the pleasure of the board.
good with
The work session.
I'm sorry, I'm good with that.
The October work
October 1 or
Yes.
Yes, that's correct.
16th?
So I'd just like to quickly just inform you, for October 3, October 16, we already have 3 major items for that work session, just so you know. So if you want to put this for that meeting, that's pretty much going to be extensive conversations over 4 major items of discussion.
Okay.
So we can move it to the November meeting.
Mayor. Sure. The planning conference, where 4 of us will be out, is that time, so. Yep. Yeah, in October, the October 16th.
So then I think at that point, then we need to make this for the November 3rd meeting.
Yep.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Matt. Thank you.
To amend your motion.
Make a motion that we table this until November 3rd's meeting.
You have a motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Commissioner Davis?
Favor.
Commissioner Miles?
Favor.
Commissioner Baxter?
Not in favor.
Passes. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Okay.
Social District.
Thank you, Board of Commissioners and Mayor. The Planning Department has been tasked with providing a brief informational presentation on social districts to give you some ideas on how social districts are administered and where other towns have found successes. This is not a proposal to change anything in the code at this time, but just an opportunity to discuss and ask questions to staff as we continue to see changes in our downtown becoming a more vibrant destination. So I'm going to hop into my presentation here. So just to provide a little bit of historical context of social districts in North Carolina, as well as social districts in Zebulon. So September of 2021, House Bill 890 was signed into law, which allowed for local municipalities to create and administer social districts. A social district is defined as a geographical area where licensed establishments may sell alcoholic beverages to customers in specially marked containers that may then be possessed and consumed within the district's boundaries. So that means that you can take a drink from one bar and bring it out onto the sidewalk within that social district boundary. So in June of 2022, the Zebulon Board of Commissioners made a change to the town's code of ordinance when presented with the social district option. The town board at the time chose to make the following change to the general code, which was the addition of allowing for the consumption of alcohol in areas adjacent to existing businesses, but not necessarily creating a district where you can roam around. So that language reflects public sidewalks and other public areas immediately adjacent to establishments with an approved ABC permit, but not to include on-street parking areas, crosswalks, or travel lanes without prior authorization by the town of Zebulon. So that's what Zebulon currently has. So in 2022, some community engagement was conducted in discussion of social district. And so I just want to highlight this as kind of where the town was at back in 2022 and what the feelings were. So 3 questions were asked. Should alcoholic beverages be consumed on private property? 59 should only be consumed on private property. 59% disagreed or strongly disagreed with that statement. Alcohol should only be consumed in public areas adjacent to an establishment, alcohol should be allowed to be consumed in public areas adjacent to the establishment. That's 83% agreed or strongly agreed. And then the statement of alcohol should be consumed anywhere in downtown Zebulon. The following results were found. 38% of people thought all of the time. 36% of people thought for events only, and 25% of respondents thought only during select days and times. So since 2020, a number of different municipalities throughout Wake County have instituted a social district. So Raleigh kind of led the charge, and you'll find as you look through all these social districts that they're all kind of the same, and they're all kind of modeled after Raleigh. So that being said, we wouldn't be reinventing the wheel if we were to explore a social district, and I'll talk through some of those requirements and rules and regulations for these different municipalities as I go through this presentation. So here are some key features of a social district, and this was within your agenda packet as well. And all of these will be considered when considering a social district in any town, and especially in Zebulon. So define boundaries, hours of operation, participating establishments, special containers, voluntary participation, and public notice. And so I'll go through these a little more in depth in the following slides. So boundaries. So there's a couple ways to set up a new boundary. We could use an existing boundary, run a boundary along key streets in downtown, create a new boundary that could potentially be modified as needed. So for instance, Raleigh, they started with a smaller boundary and they've since expanded that boundary to encapsulate more of downtown and benefit more downtown businesses. It could be extended for special events. So if we're having a special event down Vance Street, but that's not where the social district goes, it could be expanded for that use. And then it would exclude parking lots or other locations that the town does not see fit to be within the social district. And so there's some flexibility with administering this social district boundary. Hours of operation also has a number of flexible options, so set dates and time can be decided, would account for existing businesses' operating hours. We'd consider best practice from surrounding communities, and then as well, we would always, with any sort of new policy, we like to engage with other agencies, so looking at police, ABC Commission, Chamber of Commerce, et cetera. So this is kind of the biggest thing that you see carry over from each town or each municipality that has a social district, which is how do we identify participating establishments, as well as how do we keep it voluntary. So town staff are often the ones kind of administering this at the start, but once it's kind of decided, it's pretty free rolling as far as making sure that we're identifying which businesses are which category. And so Raleigh has the following businesses, or the following categories. So they have the green option, which is sold here, which means the alcoholic drinks are sold in that location. Welcome here. So that's an option where, let's say Mona Pants, for example, wanted to have extended business hours and they wanted people to be able to bring drinks within their business to kind of bring more business to their shop. They could choose to be a welcome here. And then sip and stroll not permitted here. That would be businesses that are not participating in the social district. Additionally, in my research, I found that Apex had some an interesting addition where they had a fourth option that would only allow drinks sold in that location there, but they could still buy drinks and then participate within the rest of the social district. And as well, this list would be maintained by the town and posted on the town's website. So special containers. So the state actually requires that these drinks have identifying information. And so the sticker items are what that identifying information is. And so that would be the location where the beverage was purchased, the time and date of the purchase. It would have a social district logo, and then a statement of to the effect of drink responsibly B21, which is a requirement by the state. Additionally, the town, one thing that we could look into as well is identifying what type of drink is being put into the cup to help minimize some of that if there's concerns about people pouring their own beverages or anything like that. And then as well, the cups would be provided by the businesses. The stickers would be provided, the template would be provided by the town, but what a lot of places do is that they require that those businesses print their own stickers. And if they run out of stickers, they can't do any more drinks for that night, but then can continue once they have those stickers again. So public notice, so this is going to be really important when establishing a boundary for a district. The people who are participating in the district have to understand where they can bring their drinks. And so some of the ways of noticing that is to post it on the town's website, posting it throughout the town within those businesses that are participating in the social district, as well as having signs at locations where the social district is ending. So another consideration that the town was looking into was ways to limit the types of drinks that would be allowed to be carried within the sip and stroll, potentially limiting it to beer and wine and no liquor-based drinks. But again, with this social district, it could be something that can be expanded upon in the future. So policy considerations, so these are items that when we're considering a new policy, we want to consider to make sure that we're going to have an effective policy as well as it's going to be operational. So this includes enforcement, operations, fairness and equity, community engagement, downtown goals, and fiscal impact. So enforcement, there's kind of two ways to kind of enforce this. But that would include incident response, which could be the immediate response to an issue, and then reporting method, which we often see these guides for the social districts having the police non-emergency number listed as a way of reporting, as well as the Wake County ABC Commission. Enforcement actions can look like fines, revocation of permits when discussing it from a business standpoint, and then on individuals who break the rules of the social district, there could also be fines or criminally charged because open container laws would still apply outside of the social district. So operations, keeping Zebulon clean, requiring all participating establishments, often there's a requirement that all participating establishments provide a place to dispose of cups that's near their door. So whether you're coming in with an empty cup, throwing it away, or leaving, or trying to decrease the amount of trash that's going out onto the sidewalk. This may include increasing the number of public trash cans in downtown, as well as placing trash cans on sidewalks along the social district boundary. Information provided to me by Shannon Johnson, our economic developer, was provided that some of the biggest issues in some of these social districts is the litter, and within larger cities they'll have ambassador programs, and in smaller cities and towns they'll sometimes contract out that additional service, and so that's something that we can explore as well as we learn a little bit more about social districts. Fairness and equity, so this option would be offered to all option to participate in serving to businesses with compatible ABC permits. So that's within the district boundary. Anybody within that district boundary would be able to opt in. And then as well, the Welcome Here option allows that option to businesses that may not have an ABC license and may not serve alcohol but still want to be participating in the social district by allowing drinks from other establishments to come into their site. And as any program is, this is an opt-in and opt-out program. It's not something that would be required, but it would be something that we allow any business within that social district to pursue. Community engagement. So again, with any new initiative, new policy, we always want to ask our stakeholders what their thoughts are, as well as get some feedback from any stakeholders that may have more information on certain laws or regulations than we do. So this would include public input surveys that would be sent out to the town, downtown businesses, meeting with existing downtown businesses, and then other stakeholders that the town has identified are ABC Commission, law enforcement, the planning department, public works, parks and rec, the town lawyers, economic development, and downtown coordinator. And so all these people must come together to kind of help form a social district. So fiscal impact, to ensure the proper funding will be in place for administering the START program. Budget adjustments might be reasonable, and it may start with a new fiscal year as a way to kind of help carry this over smoothly. As well, the costs of the town, there's a couple of capital costs and a couple of operating costs. So the capital costs, which are costs that are often a one-time physical cost, so signage, trash cans, and then operating is things like staff time or enforcement. Economic benefits. So charging a registration fee to participating businesses may cover the program's cost, as well as social district encourages a more vibrant downtown. also provided by our economic developer. She stated that Mebane saw an increase in downtown, Mebane, for example, which is just west of here, saw an increase in downtown foot traffic for the first year of their district. And then as well, some of the other smaller towns such as Kannapolis, Hickory, and Norwood all have new businesses that were able to be established because of the creation of the social district. So all of that is to be considered when thinking about social districts. And again, tonight is not, we're not changing any policy, we're not proposing anything new, but it's just an opportunity to discuss and ask any questions so that staff can continue to look into this item for you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any discussion, comments from the board? Questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Kate.
Maybe I can just quickly, I don't know if you're aware, but Kate just got promoted to senior planner.
Oh, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Well done, Kate.
Next, we will have the public hearing. 1915 and 1917 Old Bun Road Annex. Is there anyone who wishes to speak in favor of the development? Come forward to the podium, state your name and address.
Mayor, we do have a presentation if you would like us to present that for this item.
Before we get started, Mayor, we'd like to take a 5-minute recess if we could, please.
Five-minute recess.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Reconvene. Public hearing. I think we will continue with the public hearing. And we had asked if anyone was in favor of the of the development, come forth, name, address, and come to the podium, please.
Good evening. Molly Stewart, Morningstar Law Group, here on behalf of the applicant for the annexation and the next couple of items on the agenda as well. We have no comments regarding the annexation specifically. I just wanted to note the presence of the full team in the room in case you do have questions on any of these matters. We have with us Billy Gillett from Eastwood Homes. There he is. We also have Dan Pabst and Josh Lieb from Pabst Design Group on our civil engineering team. You're there. And they're walking in. And we also have Matt Peach from Stantec, our traffic expert as well. And with that, we are available for any questions. Thank you.
Anyone else wishes to speak in favor of the development? Hearing none. Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition of the development? Hearing none. Is there anyone who wishes to speak neither for or against the development? Hearing none, I declare the public hearing closed. Did you want to do the presentation?
To do a presentation real quick. So this is for the Old Bun Road annexation ordinance 2026-06. The property that we are discussing tonight has the applicant of Eastwood Homes of Raleigh LLC. The property owner is Thomas C. Hendrickson and Jill D. Hendrickson. The property address is 1915 and 1917 Old Bun Road. The PIN numbers are 2715290916 and 2716215371, and this is part one of a larger PD discussion that will be happening after this agenda item. The acreage is 1.59.72 acres. Public hearing notification. So public hearing signs were posted, mailed notices were sent out, was sent to the newspaper, general circulation, and posted on the town website. This is the subject property. As you can see on the screen here, the items in red are the current corporate limits of the town of Zebulon. And then the light pink is the extraterritorial jurisdiction. So this is just east of existing corporate limits. Annexation standards. When considering annexation, the board should consider the following standards from section 2.2.2.g of the UDO. Whether the annexation request has owner approval, whether services can be provided, whether there are any outstanding debt obligations on the property, whether proper public health, safety, and welfare can be considered with this decision. Staff recommends approval of the proposed annexation and the adoption of ordinance 2026-06 if the board finds that the standards of the section 2.2.2.g are met. I'm happy to take any questions, and as well, the applicant is here to answer any questions if you have them.
Questions, comments from the board?
I'd like to make a motion.
Okay.
I hereby move to approve ordinance 2026-06 for the annexation of Wake County PIN 271-5290916 and 271-6215371 into the Zebulon corporate boundaries, finding that the standards of section 2.2.2.g are met.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll vote. Commissioner Baxter? Commissioner Miles?
Favor.
Commissioner Davis? Motion passes. Thank you.
Good evening. This next presentation is for the plan development rezoning of the Old Bond Road plan development. Just a quick overview of the topics that we'll be discussing in this presentation briefly, and then the applicant has some additional items that they would like to add and discuss. When considering rezoning, there are certain standards in which the UDO requires town board to consider when evaluating for approval or denial of a rezoning. Those are on the page, they're on the screen. And also with the plan development, we look for proposals that are better than the strict interpretation of the Unified Development Ordinance. The property is Eastwood Homes of Raleigh LLC. The property owners are Thomas and Jill D. Hendrickson. Property address is on the screen. Acreage is slightly under 160 acres. Its current zoning is Wake County 30, and its proposed zoning is planned development. It abuts Wake County 30, R30 zoning to the north, to the east, to the south, and abuts the town of Zebulon limits elsewhere, including heavy industrial R2 and the old version of planned development ordinance R13 special use district. This screen shows that the town has met its public hearing notification requirements for the rezoning, as a similar screen was shown for the annexation. This development has been in our entitlements program since late 2024. The first submittal came on December 2nd. The Technical Review Committee, which is the staff committee, reviewed this project on January 8th, and the joint public hearing and the planning board hearing happened on April 14th. Zoning is not planning. Zoning is the tool we use to achieve our community's plan. So one of the very first things that happens when staff receives an application is we compare the application and the details therein to the future land use map. The future land use for this property is designated as suburban residential. There are a series of uses in which the town has planned for development in suburban residential areas, and in this case, it aligns with item number 2. Plan developments that integrate a variety of housing types with increased open space in an attempt to preserve overall suburban character. Because this development aligns with the future land use map, staff is able to advance it to the next step. This is an overview of the development. It's 610 homes across 159 acres. It's 3.8 dwelling units an acre. It features an amenity center, internal parks. The property features a historic home, 2 cemeteries. There is some potential restaurant use in the PD amongst some other unique amenity uses, and the expansion of our greenway system. There's 60 acres of open space. That's 38% of the development. A little under 16 acres of that is active, and a little under 45 acres of that is passive. Another thing that staff looks at when we intake these large plan development proposals, we look at land performance. This is how we determine if the application exceeds the strict interpretation of our ordinance. And we look at 2 things. We look at gross density, which is the total number of dwelling units on the total number of acres. If this project was to be done by right without a plan development, the maximum that they could create or maximum that could be platted is 3.9. So this is just slightly under, or really probably right at what the strict zoning of this property would otherwise support. We also look at net density, which is the acreage of parcels that just contain dwellings. In this proposal, it's 9.1 units an acre. By right, this would be 4.5 units an acre. So it's important to note that if this applicant chose to pursue the same project using by right zoning, they would need 133 acres just to support the housing component of this. Here, they accomplish it in 67 acres. What does that mean? It means that the developer is proposing to deliver the town something that has a regional impact that our planning documents plan for, but doing it so in a more efficient package or more efficient use of the land. It'll generate 2 times the property tax per acre that would otherwise occur by right. There's fewer roads to maintain, and there's less stormwater infrastructure. In the plan development narrative, the applicant does propose some modifications to our Unified Development Ordinance. Much of these modifications are to exceed certain standards that we have. So they exceed the total open space requirements, the impervious area requirement. They did make some modifications to how we otherwise would regulate buffers. I know that in their presentation they talk a little bit about buffers. There's a 20-foot wide buffer that otherwise meets our Type E standards that border the rural properties on the eastern edge. The planned development narrative also commits the developer to exceeding our town's voluntary architectural standards with some small exceptions to garage doors. Another thing that staff looks at when we receive these large plan development applications is how does the developer propose to contribute to our traffic improvements. So we have a transportation plan, and in this area, the transportation plan says that we should be planning to do 3 things. 1, improve Old Bund Road to a 4-lane divided road, and in this case, the developer will be providing their portion. Improving Gannon to a 4-lane divided road. That is not an impact fee eligible project though. And third, develop a second connection between the developments that otherwise front Old Bund Road and Highway 39. And the developer will show that they are providing their portion. When it comes to road improvements, there's really 2 things that are important for the general public to know. One of them is the planned capacity of the road, and the other one is the performance or the level of service of the road. So we run models when we get these large developments, say how does different scenarios impact congestion and impact traffic. So I like to show what I call the doomsday scenario, like how bad can we make it? And so in this case, we took everything, if every trip from Barrington, when Barrington is built out, and every trip from this developer, the Old Bund PD, goes to the highway interchange at 264, what does our planning capacity, what is reflected in our planning capacity? So you can see Old Bund Road is otherwise running at what we say 10% full, and the doomsday scenario is 85%. Gannon, right before you get to that highway interchange, exceeds our planned capacity. And US 264 itself goes from 33% to 70%. So even at its doomsday scenario, 2 of our most impacted, what we would think would be the most impacted areas still remain under the planned capacity, although it is clear to point out that Gannon exceeds what we've planned for. The things are really small on this chart, so I'll explain it in a second. We also think about how the roads and the intersections perform. This is largely poor performance or poor level of service. The intersections are largely what contributes to congestion. So there's really only 2 columns that you should look at this chart if you just need to glance at it, and those are the 2 in bold. The first one that says degrades. So this is saying if we do nothing, if this development is not approved and nothing happens based on what has been approved, how does the level of service change in the next couple of years? And this developer's TIA ran this model over the next 4 years. And so in nearly every category, the level of service goes down, it gets worse, congestion gets worse if we do nothing. Then the next bold column, which is 3 over, says, does the final project, once all the road improvements that are proposed are in place, does the final project improve the level of service? And here we can see largely the answer is yes. Particularly looking at the eastbound and westbound ramps, those would perform at a level of service D or F, and with the improvements based on this traffic study, those would improve to an A. Remember, this is not like school. A C is very good. An A is no congestion at all. And so if we're able to run our major intersections at a level of service of C or better, that's a success. So a couple of findings from traffic analysis. The project will not expand the average daily trips beyond the planned capacity, except in the doomsday scenario. The project will not cause additional degradation beyond natural growth, provided that the improvements are made. Proposed improvements restore the study area to acceptable levels. And should the board approve this development, staff may request a couple additional studies in preparation for a next phase of developments coming our way. One would be to update the transportation plan so we can incorporate Parks Village Road. The other one would be to add to our impact fee analysis, to our capital improvements plan, the widening of Gannon between Old Bund and 264. So we could use impact fee dollars to improve that road. Some additional contributions that will occur should this development be improved. The estimated impact fee to the town is $1.1 million for transportation. The park's impact fee is 1.7, and the property tax projection at max build-out, given current property tax rates, is $1.4 million. The utility allocation policy, which we require developers to meet a public realm investment criteria to access sewer and water. These are the items on the screen in which they will be using to meet their utility allocation requirements. I talked with many commissioners about concerns related to school overcrowding. And so I thought I'd include a slide just briefly to talk about how we work with the school district about planning and what we know, or what the school district is doing. We share, and the school district utilizes our dwelling count and other demographic data, and we're regularly reporting this out. So we have an annual meeting, it's coming up at the end of October here, where the school district demographers and planning staff sit down and we reconcile all of our data. So as soon as we put something up on our interactive development map, it becomes public record, right? And so the school district mines all this information, and then we reconcile to make sure we have accurate information. It's not just development that's been approved or might be approved, it's anything that meets our criteria to go up on the map. So the school district has had this information for some time now about the counts coming in. I'm not a school district planner, nor do I represent the school district, but what I do know is that school districts, especially large county districts in this state, have to think regionally about classroom sizes. And so we do know that Little Creek Elementary is scheduled to be built in Zebulon. We also know that there's 2 new elementary schools being built in eastern Wake County, and there's likely going to be some movement of students around in order to meet whatever the classroom size goals that they have. There's one at Marsh Creek Elementary and Pool Road Elementary, which I believe both are on Pool Road. Then there's some additional renovations that are about to happen or have happened at Wendell Elementary and at Zebulon Middle School. So staff recommends approval of ordinance 2026-7. We find that the project is consistent with the Grow Zebulon land use plan, and upon approval, the community can expect these outcomes. There's 610 new residential lots. Based on the current tax rate, this will increase the town's tax generation by $1.14 million a year. The town will also see transportation improvements, an additional $1 million generated in transportation impact fees. And this is a natural expansion of the Greenway network that at full build out will effectively run from Highway 39 to Weaver's Pond. The planning board recommended denial of this subdivision unanimously. They cited the strain on the transportation system and the proximity of the new houses to the Old Bund Road right-of-way. Since the planning board's denial, the developer has made some changes to the master plan. They've modified the setback line of the townhomes at front Old Bund Road and NC 97. They've increased this from 10 feet to 20 feet, and they've added a 10-foot landscape easement, which will be reflected in our version of our modified Type C buffer. It's also important to add that these are likely going to feel setback probably 7 additional feet, so 27 feet, because of the amount of space between back of curb and the sidewalk and the things within that space. They've also extended some sidewalks, so there's additional pedestrian connectivity from the development onto Old Bund Road. They've upgraded their landscaping plan to specifically reference local pollinators, and they voluntarily committed 5% of the townhomes to be reserved for buyers at or less than 80% AMI. That's 31 units. So because staff had made a recommendation of approval and the planning board made a recommendation of denial, what we're presenting in front of you today is 2 separate suggested motions. One is a motion should you choose to approve the development, and one is a motion should you choose to deny the development. We'll come back to this slide. Now, the developer would like to come up and share some more information about their development.
Thank you, Matt. And thank you, Mayor York and commissioners. Since we were last here, back in the spring, as you've heard, many changes have been made to this proposal based on feedback that we heard and based on many, many conversations between the project team and the commissioners. And I know the whole team is very grateful for all the effort that was put in. So I do want to walk through some of those changes. We did hear them. I'll try not to be repetitive, but we do want to talk about some of those changes. I'm not sure how to advance the slide. Okay, thank you. I also believe I can't point to it, so I will try and describe where I'm talking about. The goal of this plan, I'm sorry.
I'm so sorry, we can't hear you.
Oh, no. Is this better?
That's better.
Oh, great, thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you very much. All right, well, thank you for letting me know that. So we just wanted to highlight some of the changes that have been made since the last time that we were here. And this map is sort of a high-level guide to where those changes occur. So we want to talk through those. I don't want to go in very much depth with respect to the historic home. We have a separate item on the agenda for that, but it is also part of the rezoning. So just to make sure that those are tied together, there is the next item on the agenda, the letter of intent to donate that site to the town with some key improvements to make it truly a viable, usable, visitable historic site for Zebulon. Happy to talk more about that during the next agenda item if desired. So the next item we wanted to talk about is right along that frontage. Oh, I do have this now. Here at NC 97 and Old Bun Road, because as you heard, that setback was changed. There we go. All right, so it's a little bit hard to see, but we now have this 10-foot wide landscape easement. That was originally a 10-foot setback for the townhomes. The setback is now 20 feet with 10 feet of landscaping in there as well. And again, with those pollinator-friendly plantings, of course. Those are, by the way, I probably won't repeat it every time, but there are lots of buffers being added, lots of plantings, and every time that you hear that, that means pollinator-friendly plantings in there as well to start to form a network through the site. All right. Okay, so the next change that has happened since last we were here is that the driveways, so throughout the site for the single-family homes, now those are all around, and so those aren't marked, but also the majority of the townhomes that are encircled here, those all had 20-foot-long driveways that have been extended to 25 feet. The only place that didn't happen on the site is down here with these townhomes right along this edge, and the reason for that is there's an extra wide buffer in that area for greater protection. So those have the 20-foot driveways, but everything else on the site changes to the 25. All right. Another area I'll point out, you notice several different north-south streets throughout the site, creating smaller blocks, greater walkability. That is a little bit in conflict with the North Carolina Department of Transportation, who do not want to see a row of intersections happening along this frontage. They want to limit the number of intersections that happen there, and that is why another change that has been made where some of those streets don't come all the way through and connect to the existing roadway, sidewalks have been added so that the pedestrian at least will not feel that impact. It's probably less of a big deal to drive around to that next entrance, but if you're walking it, you can still get through. So that's another change that was made. Condition has been added to require a dual-purpose pool that will include a minimum of four-lane junior Olympic pool, as well as both a toddler and kids section, as well as a waiting area. Each of the play areas within the project will provide at least one shade structure as well. So this slide again shows kind of the key map. So this line up here, and then on this side as well. These are additional new landscape easements. These are 10 feet wide, and although you see on each side, they don't come all the way down the property line. There are different reasons for that. On this side, it's due to the existing buffer on the neighboring property, so it wouldn't really add anything there. So it extends north of that existing buffer. And then on this side, it stops here. And the only reason it stops here is because when we were here last, we had already included an even wider buffer below that. So extending that buffer that was already in place. So finally, there are a few additional changes that don't have an image to share, so I'll just go through those. One, you heard that there will be affordability, 5% of those townhome units affordable for 10 years. Also, during construction, there was a concern about security and safety, so we'll have no trespassing signs as well as security cameras during construction. There are two additional commitments that we'd like to offer tonight. These you won't find in your materials, but we have continued these conversations. They've been ongoing, and so a couple of things that we would like to add would be to commit to expend up to $10,000 for a marker, a historic marker that would note the presence of the graves of enslaved persons that exist on the site. We have also heard from Commissioner Miles the importance of including local Zebulon businesses and having an opportunity to bid on the construction for this project. So as a team, we are committed to reaching out to local contractors and to eagerly reviewing those bids as well. So again, we just really are very grateful to all the time and effort our commissioners have put in. I know Commissioner Baxter, you especially worked on the house, the letter of intent, and the donation of that house. So we appreciate all of those efforts. We hope that we have captured all of those. One last piece we wanted to note is just to give a flavor for the overall proposal, to provide a couple of comparisons. So here we have the open space that's provided, as you see, compared to the required 10% open space. The open space is a much greater component of this project than would be required under a non-planned development. Also, just comparing to the most recent subdivision next door, the density proposed here is lower by any measure, and with the larger single-family lots and the wider widths of those lots, providing a more spacious feel here at this neighboring development. So with that, we wanted to hit on transportation, which was the other big concern we heard last time with respect to some existing issues and how those get resolved. And to discuss that, I will ask Dan Pabst of Pabst Design Group to come up.
Perfect. Good evening. Thank you for your time this evening. I will say that Planning Director Lauer did a fantastic job on transportation, stole a lot of my points, so I'm not going to beat them into the ground, but he did a fantastic job. We will hit on some of those very high level. I did want to mention before I moved on to transportation, we did also proffer a condition for landscape screening to be around the pickleball playground area near the clubhouse, and that was to mitigate noise and impact and whatnot. That was a recent addition as well. And one other important item, on the 10-foot landscape easements on the east and west sides, we've committed to plant hollies as well as pollinators within those easements as well. Okay, so moving forward, I'm going to try and keep this really as simple as possible. We have Matt Peach, who's going to be introduced here in a minute to discuss a little bit more details on traffic. I know that traffic was a concern during the joint public hearing. Really didn't have, I guess, the adequate time to address that like we felt like we should. So that is really what we want to do this evening. And as Director Lauer had said, there's really two things that we look at here when it comes to traffic. We have comprehensive plan requirements. You're talking about your transportation plans. You see here a copy of Zebulon's, which it shows in the blow up the various streets that must be improved that will increase capacity. And then second, you're going to have traffic impact analysis. That analysis is reviewed by both NCDOT, it's reviewed by the town and the town's consultant. And from that, there are conditions proffered based on what is proposed. Now, with all of those, what that does is several things. If we talk about the comprehensive plan, it's intended really to develop a planning network of streets that's going to provide interconnectivity, even distribution, pull away from intersections, provide less impact on those intersections. Here, if you look at the blue dash line here, So Barrington subdivisions here, this is now officially Long Stanton Avenue. So what we have proposed to do is extend Long Stanton, obviously to our eastern property line. What that's going to do, obviously when to the east that development develops in the future, they're also going to be obligated to extend that to 39. Once it's complete, it's intended to essentially distribute some of that traffic. It's going to pull it from Barrington. It's going to pull it to 39. You know, our subdivision is also going to be pulled to 39, which is going to relieve some of the traffic at the intersection. Second, as part of the comprehensive plan improvements, you have Old Bun Road, you have 97 here, both of which are slated to be improved. So Eastwood has committed, and required for that matter, to provide both dedicated right-of-way to improve that street section, their portion to a 4-lane divided. What that does is increases the capacity of the roads to handle additional traffic. So that is important. Two things here, again, to note is future distribution, as this is extended to 39, increased capacity on both Old Bun Road and 97 with the improvements. Second, when you move away from just the comprehensive plan improvements, there was a traffic impact analysis. There were requirements in addition to spacing of, and let me go to the next slide so you can see this a little bit better. So here, with the traffic impact analysis, there were requirements for turn lanes to come in and out of the development, as well as really the most important item, I would say, is this traffic signal here. Currently, both streets are 2-lane, undivided. It's a 4-legged stop sign, stop condition intersection with a poor level of service. What will happen with this signal, it's going to increase the level of service. Obviously, we are increasing the capacity as well at the intersection. It's going to make it a much safer intersection. So that is obviously important. And again, here you can see a little bit illustrated Long Stanton, what that's going to look like. This we just kind of wanted to hit because our understanding is the town doesn't currently, they have some planned that I might not be aware of, but this street, it's very bike and pedestrian modality to it, right? It's encouraging bicycles to travel, it's encouraging pedestrian, not just your typical vehicles. So we will have bike lanes here. We're going to have parallel parks as well, which is going to increase the parking capacity. And it's intended that this will extend to 39, which 39 typically could be a future cycle route, potentially. So the last thing I want to hit on before I hand it over to Matt Peach of Stantec is that really what's important here is if, you know, a lot of the infrastructure that's planned, a lot of the infrastructure is implemented through development at the time when it comes along. That's how a lot of this does get built, it gets funded, you know, in pieces. And so this is kind of coming along, I guess, in that direction. So really now I want to hand it over to Matt to talk a little bit more. He's dived in, he's done some studies on the intersection itself, and obviously I'm here to answer any questions that the Board of Commissioners may have following the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan, and thank you, Commissioners, for allowing me to be here in front of you tonight to talk about the development, traffic, and how we propose to tackle it. So you've heard a lot of talk already about traffic, level of service, connectivity. I wanted to continue that conversation, but also throw safety into the mix as well. The reason being is that we're always concerned with safety, but it's also one of the things that we heard from you all during prior meetings and as well as the public. And when I talk about safety, I'm going to focus in on the intersection of Old Bun Road and Gannon specifically. A reason we are concerned about that intersection, and you'll see some more data later, is because of two factors. One, you have very high speeds on both Gannon and Bunn coming into the intersection, but you also have that heavy skew that you see there. The reason that that's problematic is because it puts a lot of onus on the drivers to look around at angles that aren't necessarily the most comfortable, right? And you actually also have to cover a lot of, I guess, a visible distance as a driver in a very short amount of time to ensure that when you turn from Old Bunn onto Gannon, you can do so in a safe manner. So if you could advance the slides real quick. Oh, perfect. Perfect. All right, I'll keep going. This is a crash diagram. So we dug into the data. There's a lot of information on here, but over the last 5 years, this is a graphical representation of patterns of crashes at the intersection. So every crash that's occurred at this specific intersection over the last 5 years of data that we have is plotted up here. Of course, we don't have any specific information on there about the crash themselves or the people involved in the crash, but we do have a lot of information on where they were, exactly what they were doing, how fast they were going, did anyone get injured, and the specifics of each individual crash aren't necessarily what's important. What's really important is the patterns that you can see, right? So you see very distinct patterns of traffic going from left to right. So Gannon is left and right on the screen, and Old Bunn is kind of, I'll say north and south in this orientation. You see a definitive pattern where traffic is going from left to right on Gannon and also from right to left on Gannon, and it's conflicting with traffic that is coming from the top of the page towards the bottom from Old Bunn, exactly where this development is going to be adding additional traffic. So of course we're very concerned with that, and we want to do what we can to kind of rectify the situation. Here's another kind of quick graphic to show you all the crash types that we're seeing. Those crashes that I were describing from Gannon and Old Bunn, we refer to those as angle crashes because the cars are coming together at an angle, of course. There are some other crashes that are typical that we would see at an unsignalized intersection. Of course, there's the rear ends. There's some run off the road crashes, but you can see here the vast majority of crashes are what we refer to as angle. The good news is, you can see here that we do have some patterns of injury, right? Property damage only, that's great. That's the vast majority. That's what we want to see. We don't want to see people getting hurt. But we do see some people with possible visible injuries, some people with evident injuries. That means they were treated at the site. And then you have some folks with disabling injuries. That means they were sent to the hospital preceding the crash. Thankfully, there have been no fatal crashes in the last 5 years. I am thankful for that. But here's the good news. So with this particular development, we are proposing, and NCDOT has accepted, the installation of a traffic signal at this intersection. And studies have shown that installing a traffic signal can reduce these angle crashes somewhere between 43 and 67%. So we see a huge benefit in terms of safety at the intersection that has a known crash pattern by installing a traffic signal. And of course, because of the patterns of crashes at the intersection, there is support from published documents from federal highways that would permit a traffic signal at the intersection. Of course, NCDOT would be the maintaining agency, but if approved, we would coordinate with them on the design and permitting of that traffic signal. And you heard a lot about level of service earlier. I did want to hit on this really quick because the graphic is so striking. At this specific intersection, what we see is a huge improvement in terms of level of service. And what you see on the left is that's average seconds of delay per vehicle at the intersection. So without this project, we're seeing vehicles waiting over 100 seconds to make a turn from Old Bunn onto Gannon. If we move forward with the project and we install a traffic signal, we can reduce that by about 80%, all the way down to just above 20 seconds. And of course, that's in the PM peak hour. So We see a great benefit both to safety and operations by moving forward with the traffic signal at this intersection, and that's of course being offered as a part of the development. So happy to answer any questions you may have. Yep, thank you.
Thank you for all the work you've put into this and all of your patience tonight. Just want to summarize by again saying that we have heard your feedback. There has been a lot of it. Hopefully you've heard all that incorporated tonight. I know Commissioner Miles, you've heard yours, and although we're not there at the House donation point yet, Commissioner Baxter, thank you for that one. We truly hope that this project is bringing something for everyone, and that pertains to the future residents of this site, to the existing residents of the town, and as well as to the town government, bringing a critical infrastructure. On site, this proposal will provide a range of housing types, from affordable units to first-time homebuyer inexpensive units, or for empty nesters, the core detached single-family home, the move-up option on the estate lots, the larger lots, as well as units designed for those 55 plus to simplify life through accessibility, through reduced maintenance. So truly all phases of life incorporated in the site, as well as inviting existing residents to join the site, to come in to see the history in the cemetery, in the historic home, or to enjoy the greenway that's being expanded, while building out critical infrastructure that is already needed today with the roadway connection and the new traffic light as well. We hope that we have heard and responded to all of your concerns and requests, and we look forward to further discussion tonight. Thank you.
Any questions, comments from the board? Any further discussion from the developer? Is there a motion?
Before we move forward, Mayor, I do have a little bit of discussion. I just want to thank them also for the opportunity, that option of putting that small business. That's going to be very important for us. If it does pass, to move forward, to give local small businesses an opportunity to kind of bid on some of those opportunities. I'm finding that when we're doing the development, they're bringing people in, but we do have people here in Zebulon that supply that exact same trade that I want to give those small businesses an opportunity here in the town of Zebulon.
Any other questions, comments from the board? Is there a motion?
I'd like to make a motion. I hereby move to approve ordinance 2026-07, finding that the action is reasonable, consistent with the Grove Zebulon comprehensive land use, and compliant with UDO section 2.2.25.j, as described in the prepared statement per the UDO section 2.2.15.G.3.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll vote. Commissioner Baxter.
Favor.
Commissioner Miles.
Favor.
Commissioner Davis.
Favor.
Motion passes. Thank you. Next, Old Bund Road Historic Home.
Last of 3 items in the Old Bund Road suite of activities, or the Old Bund Road Marathon, maybe, which is a good idea. I'll do the 5K, though. Bennett Bund Plantation, this is a discussion about the potential donation of the historic home and the surrounding parcel from the Anderson family to the town of Zebulon. The goal of this approach is to conduct proper due diligence, to limit the taxpayer's liability and understand what opportunities exist regarding public ownership of the historic home and the historic lot. Is the property viable for public use? To what level rehabilitation is needed? Is it feasible? Is it cost effective? How might this asset align to our long-term goals? And how are we going to operate the property? What is the public going to do with it if it becomes a publicly owned property? The method to do this is through what's called a letter of intent. And a request tonight is that the board direct the town manager to draft a non-binding letter of intent with the developer. Again, the purpose is to document preliminary interest, contingent on findings related to structural condition, feasibility of home rehabilitation, public use and historic and cultural value, and long-term ownership, stewardship, and funding. This supports good faith negotiation while protecting the taxpayer's interests. The comprehensive plan provides some guidance that suggests that we ought to be having these conversations, both recreation amenities policy A and policy L. So this is a suggested motion on the screen to direct the town manager to negotiate a non-binding letter of intent with the Old Bund Road Plan Development.
I move that the Board of Commissioners direct town staff to develop a non-binding letter of intent with the developer of the Old Bund Road Plan Development regarding the potential donation of the historic home and the surrounding land located on the Bund Plantation property. Staff shall return to the board with findings and a formal recommendation prior to any final acceptance.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, roll vote. Commissioner Davis?
Favor.
Commissioner Miles? Favor. Commissioner Baxter?
In favor.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Managers report.
Mayor, I think before we move there, we do have
Oh, I'm sorry.
board vacancy.
Board vacancy.
Yes.
Skip one. We have the vacant board, commissioners vacancy, and is there a motion?
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we appoint Trent Smith to fill the vacancy appointment.
We have a motion. I'd like to recognize it. Mr. Vernon?
The process that we have is a motion for a potential board vacancy, and then we would ask the other members of the board if they have other motions to make. Then we would have a ballot to vote on it. So if that's consistent with what the board is trying to do, then that's fine.
Okay. Are there any other nominations? Hearing none. We have a motion. We need a second.
Yes, sir.
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion? Roll vote. Commissioner Baxter?
In favor.
Commissioner Miles?
Favor.
Commissioner Davis?
Favor.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Can we swear him in, Mayor?
So we'd like to take a step to swear in Mr. Schmidt tonight?
Yes.
And did you have something to say, Mr. Smith?
Yeah.
You can come up to the podium, please.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Trent Schmidt. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak with you tonight. I was originally planning on speaking to you before the vote had happened, but I'm glad to have the opportunity to speak to you at all. Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners, town staff, and residents of Zebulon for this opportunity. Before anything else, I just want to say thank you for being here tonight, and thank you for believing in what we're working hard to build together. When I started this journey, I didn't do it for the title or recognition. I did it because I cared deeply about this town, about the people, the families, and the future that we share. I believe that leadership is about service, and that service isn't just a role, but a calling. It means listening, helping, and doing my part to make sure our community continues to thrive for everyone. Over the past months, I've had the chance to meet so many incredible people, business owners, parents, retirees, young professionals, each with their own hopes for our community. Those conversations have meant the world to me. They've reminded me that what makes Zebulon strong isn't one person standing up front. It's all of us, working side by side with a shared sense of purpose. To everyone who offered a word of encouragement or expressed their interest in voting for me in the coming election, thank you very much. Your support has fueled this effort every single day. No matter what comes next, please know this: my commitment to serve doesn't end tonight. I'm here to listen, to learn, and to keep putting our community first. Together, we can continue to build a Zebulon where we're all proud to call home. And thank you for your faith, your time, and your trust. It's an honor to stand here tonight, and an even greater honor to serve you. For service, integrity, and progress, residents of Zebulon, I am here for you. unaffiliated, and unapologetically as myself. Thank you.
Thank you. The clerk will swear you in.
Yes, sir. Raise your hand. Yeah. I state your name.
I, Trenton Schmidt,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and maintain
that I will support and maintain
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution and laws
and the Constitution and laws
of North Carolina,
of North Carolina,
not inconsistent therewith,
not inconsistent therewith,
and that I will faithfully
and that I will faithfully
discharge
discharge
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
as Commissioner
as Commissioner
for the town of Zebulon.
for the town of Zebulon.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take your seat.
Manager's report.
Yeah, good evening again, Mayor and Commissioners. So I do have a few items. One will be on the hiring status of different candidates, and then I will ask Finance Director to step forward and talk about the financials, but then we also have a dashboard we want to share with you. And then I will also update you on an on-call professional engineering services. So with regards to hiring, the position opened about a month and a half ago and closed on September 30. We had 88 total applications. And I know that interviews have been scheduled with you for next week with the most qualified of those candidates. So Commissioner Schmidt will be getting those set up with you from tomorrow. With regards to the town clerk, we actually had it open for 2 weeks and it closes tonight. In 2 weeks, we received 80 applicants for the town clerk. Again, interviews have been scheduled with you, I believe, this week, so that you can start to interview the most qualified candidates. Again, I will say that having about 90 applicants for town manager and 80 for town clerk, when we did this with the recruiter some time ago, we did not get this many applicants. So I think that kudos to you all for your leadership. With regards to police chief, we had about 6 final candidates, and then we had a panel that was made up of current and retired police chiefs from surrounding towns and cities, including the current police chief and retired police chief from the city of Raleigh were on the panel. Interviewed the candidates, and the finalist candidates, 2 finalist candidates will have an opportunity to engage with our community tomorrow evening in this very room at 6 p.m. You are invited to attend. Now, we are not live streaming that event because it's a form of interview and not a community meeting. So it will be recorded and it will be posted. Now, people will be able to watch during the interview, but we're not live streaming it at the same time. So it's really more like a webinar, so to speak, and then we'll post it after recording it. Communications manager, we have informed the preferred candidate, and if everything goes well, should be starting by the end of the month. You're going to like this candidate. And then with the executive assistant in the manager's office, we have also informed the preferred candidate, and should be starting by the end of the month as well. So I think that by the end of October, you will have your executive assistant to the manager's office, the communications manager, and highly likely a police chief in the offices. Financial, so I'll turn it to Director Fitz to give you an update on that. And then we'll pull up also the tool that we currently have uploaded the other day. So I know that one of the questions that I typically get from you is you want to know how we're doing financially as an organization. And residents are also curious about how our funds are being spent. One of the tools that we've developed as a town is a dashboard that actually presents this information. We've always had it. But in light of conversations going on in other communities regarding budget shortfalls, we felt it would be prudent to post that for the benefit of our residents so everyone can have access to it. So, Bobby, if you could pull that up. But if you go on the front page of our website and you go to the financial dashboard, once you click on that, you are actually able to see the different areas of revenues and expenditures and how we're spending them. And of course, our fiscal years runs from July 1st of the year to June 30 of the following year. And you can actually see by month and up to date how those funds are being expended. And this information is good for you as commissioners so you can speak with your constituents, but it's also good for our audience and our residents as well to see how their tax dollars are being spent. So I know this may be difficult for people to see on the screen, but again, if you go on our website and you see the financial dashboard, just click on that and it will open up to you. If you have any questions, please feel free to share them with myself or Director Fitz. Commissioners, unless you have any other question with regards to this, I can move on to the last item. So as we grow, so does the demand for capital improvement projects grow. I know we've had conversations with regards to infrastructure projects and all of that. So in order to be able to, for us to respond effectively to the demand for capital improvement projects, we're going to establish an on-call professional engineering services, which will offer an efficient way to address this. So we're going to generate a list of qualified professional engineering companies that we can call on whenever anything comes up that needs to be addressed rather than having to be releasing RFQs or procurement every single time. It will be efficient, good savings of staff time, but it will not have any direct financial impact right now on what we're doing. So over the next few weeks, I'll be working with our Public Works Director, Rick Fletcher, to issue this RFP so that the community and contractors or others in the field will be able to respond to that. It will save us time. It will save us staff time. It will be efficient, but it will also not have any direct fiscal impact unless there's a particular special project that we issue. I've asked Director Fletcher to step to the podium just in case you have any specific questions with regards to that on-call professional service. It's a new way of doing things just to make sure that we're being efficient as we go into the future.
You can talk a little, I'd love to hear a little bit about it. That's fine. You can share a little bit about it. It'd be greatly appreciated.
Sir?
If you could say a little bit about it, a little bit in depth.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. It's just a streamlined process. We're still going to go through the same requests for qualifications. We're hoping to get several applicants, and we can review them ahead of time. As the manager said, instead of one at a time, we come up, we have a project come up, we advertise RFQ. It becomes tedious, and this is set aside too if we have an emergency type situation. Time is of the essence. Instead of taking 6-7 weeks to go through that process, we'll have engineering firms already identified that meet the qualifications for multiple different requirements, and we can select them and go to them at that point immediately and ask for a cost assessment and decide whether we want to go with them or not. It's just an effective way to have firms readily available at a moment's notice.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Any other
Questions, comments from the board?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Board comments, Commissioner Baxter?
October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. There are wonderful new procedures and techniques out there to identify breast cancer early. Please encourage your loved ones to get tested and get a mammogram.
Commissioner Miles?
just want to thank everybody for coming out tonight and kind of attending the meeting. Great to always see citizen engagement. I also like to welcome our newest commissioner on board. Look forward to working with you and see we're doing some greater good for the town of Zebulon. Look forward to it, sir.
Commissioner Davis?
I share the same sentiments as my fellow commissioners. It is Breast Cancer Awareness. I've had the unfortunate opportunity to watch two of my aunts fight and lose that battle, so it is near and dear to my heart. I encourage all women to get examined as we This is something that is near and dear to my heart, and I cannot stress the importance that you have an examination as early as possible. This is the opportunity to save your life. I always encourage men, if you have the opportunity to encourage the women in your life, to please do so. I would also like to thank the presentations that did take place tonight. It is wonderful to see the greatness that is happening in our community with our youth, any services that we continue to provide and offer as we grow. I want to thank this board for their continued hard work to ensure that our youth are our #1 priority. I also would like to thank, Commissioner, next to me to my right, Smith, welcome. Thank you for your willingness to participate and lead this community. That shows something great about you already as a leader. So thank you. Anything that we can do to help this transition, please let us know. Thank you.
I just want to thank everyone for the opportunity to be heard and also for the opportunity to serve all ears. So if there's anything that you would like to bring to my attention, I'd be happy to listen to what you have to say.
Just had a couple of comments. The passing of Renee Dunn, who was a Boys and Girls Club on the board, unit board here in Zebulon for years. She served also as a Wake County school teacher until she retired. Her service will definitely be missed, and we hope everyone recognizes her for her commitment to the town of Zebulon. Also this, I think it's Saturday, the Methodist Church is having the Fall Fest, and they will also be having a ribbon cutting for the newly erected pavilion commemorating the late Faye Brown, who was a Rotary for many years and served this community well. If there's nothing else, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I second that.
All right. All in favor? Motion, meeting adjourned. Thank you.